respected chief guest, Professor J.P. Pandeyji, Vice Chancellor of the APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, keynote speaker, Professor Ken Nishikawa, Center for Education and General Studies, Funan University, Japan, Dr. Devendra Narayan, Director, Jaipuria Institute of Management, Mr. Vinod Malhotra, advisor to the group, people from the leadership team of the Jaipuria Group of Management Institutions, and professors, corporate representatives, students, and members from the media. Namaste and good morning to all of you. It is very heartening to see today morning that large number of people from the academia, from the corporates, and aspiring students have joined us here today on this very important and pertinent theme with regard to building a resilient economy, policies and strategies for sustainable growth. Jaipuria Institute of Management has been having a lot of conferences and interactions both with the government and for the interest of the students on various topics and events. Some of them are of contrary nature, looking to the present issues of our country. Some are global perspective, which gives a vision with regard to various different perspectives that are there and how the student should face those challenges and differences over a period of time. So these type of conferences and platforms which the Jaipuria Institute of Management has created helps the students getting different perspectives, different visions, and bring them to what is more relevant in today's context. The importance of this theme can be understood in the context of the global headwinds disrupting economies across the globe. We all know that today we are living in an interdependent and interconnected world, and the world has become a global village. Something happens in our developed countries, it has ripple effects all over the world. But before I get into this in more detail, I would like to focus on the main key word, resilience. What exactly do we mean by the word resilience? According to the World Economic Forum, resilience should be seen as a long-term ability of economies and institutions to deal with adversity, withstand shocks, and continuously adapt and accelerate as disruptions and crises will arise over time. I would like all of you to step back 2 decades. In the last 2 decades, we have seen a lot of disruptions, lot of challenges globally, which has affected or impacted us. Beginning with 2007 to 2009, when there was a financial crisis ignited in America, spread all over the world, particularly Europe, there was a lot of turbulence and disturbances. The regulators realized the importance of building safeguards so that these types of incidents do not cripple the financial sector. And there was a great learning as far as how financial prudence and management should be done to be able to effectively sustain a growth which is sustainable. So a lot of lessons were learned, and a lot of the developing countries or underdeveloped countries suffered as a consequence. Subsequently, in 2019, we saw the aftermath of COVID-19. A lot of lives, livelihoods, jobs were affected. But there was a great learning for each country. How to build in resilience, how to ensure supplies of basic raw materials, products, whether it is the PP kit, oxygen, hospital beds, medicines, to be able to cater to a country, particularly in India, which has more than 1.4 crore, 140 crore people. So this is where there was a lot of learning as far as COVID-19 was concerned, and It also shifted us towards digitization. We were there in terms of learning computers and digitization. But the need when it came, and we were back to the walls, we started understanding the importance of digitization. We also saw a change in habits in terms of people working from home, and that also brought in certain changes in terms of how the HR should be there to be able to adopt to flexible working. The supply chains were disturbed, and a lot of thinking and approaches of the government were how to make them self-sufficient. Subsequently, when we saw the wars that are taking place, whether it is the Russian-Ukraine war or major disturbances having in the Gulf region and geopolitical tensions that are happening, that again makes us think with regard to which are the countries which are vulnerable, how can diplomacy play a major part in ensuring that you have the minimum damage or minimum side effect of these type of things that are happening globally. Again, India played a major role in ensuring that their diplomacy was there to be able to get certain raw materials and products at a competitive pricing so that it could withstand the pressure of global problems that various other countries were facing. Besides this, we have also seen that rapid technological advancements and acceleration is leading to great amount of efficiencies in the workplace. Having said that, I would also like to mention whether it is AI, cloud computing, Internet of Things, generative AI, or the chat GPT or robotics, while these technologies are good, but certain guardrails have to be there to ensure, and that is where the government has to step in. What are the regulations that have to be there to be able to bring forth a meaningful and constructive manner and a responsible manner in which these type of technologies are being used, because we have to adapt to these technologies as early as better, and each one has to understand that the faster they embrace this technology, it will be good for them, for their communities, and for their country. These technologies are also coming with a baggage. We have seen that cyber security is becoming an issue, job losses are likely to be there, a lot of upskilling will be required, and it is also creating a sharp differences in terms of income levels of people. People who are talented, who are able to adapt to technologies, will be having large number of job opportunities. The people who are neglected, for some reason are not included in the whole process, will suffer, and that will be a major challenge for the country in future. So that was the context I wanted to put, and in that reference I would like to talk about where we stand as a country. Our country in the last few years has been developing at a very fast pace. We have seen our GDP growing significantly. Today we are the fifth largest country in the world in terms of GDP, and most likely by 2026 we are hopeful that we will be able to become bigger than Japan and Germany. So this is not only a vision, but an action plan has been drawn by the government to ensure that we are able to meet these numbers, and by 2047, when we celebrate our century in terms of our freedom, we become a developed nation. So this is the vision of this young country, where the median age of our people is only 32 years old. People are aspirational. Young students are sitting here. I feel the growth trajectory of our country lies within your hands. You have to have the skills, the competencies that are required to be able to build upon it. And as a responsible education institution, we will try to provide the best in your journey of learning for the next 2 years. But your journey will not stop here. It has to expand, it has to multiply, and you have to learn from everything that you see. The service sector has been a major transformation and the biggest contributor to India's GDP. And I think that whether it is technology, IT-enabled services, that has put India into the right place as far as the global perspective is concerned. And a lot of people in the developed world are looking to India for support as far as IT services is concerned. And the last thing that I would like to mention as far as India is concerned is with regard to the new startup culture that the country has been able to provide. A lot of young entrepreneurs are getting to different fields, right from edtech to fintech to banking to giving services provider to leisure and entertainment, e-commerce. A lot of startup culture has come up. More than 100 unicorns have come up in the last 7 or 8 years. More than 1 lakh startups. And this is multiplying and will become the startup hub of the world. People are surprised how this country has been able to build an ecosystem which is so robust that is trying to encourage students to get into this innovative space. So innovation and creativity will be the hallmark for any resilience for any country. Well, while building on my theme with regard to resilience, I would like to point upon certain areas. First and foremost, the Government of India announced a new education policy 2020, and the scheme ensures that we are able to provide good quality education to each and every child and nobody should be left behind. The focus is on skill development, vocational training, on student knowing multidisciplinary things. Because if you are engaged in any particular field, you have to understand the other functions as well to be able to be successful in life. I would like to just briefly touch upon this because we have a very dynamic and person with us, Mr. Pandeyji, who will be talking more about it. But as a country, we have 260 million students in our K-12 education, which is going to grow up to more than 300 million people. We have in a higher education more than 40 million people, which is likely to go to 70 million people. And a lot of high quality teaching talent that we require. We talk about the gap globally for the teachers. It is about 44 crore teachers that are required, who are talented and who are able to provide the right type of education to the masses. So education is a main focus area in terms of resilience. Secondly is with regard to the thrust in terms of diversity and growth. Because when we were in the British rule and we got our independence, our economy was essentially agriculture based. We moved to services and a lot of GDP came through services. But now the thrust of the government is how to focus on the manufacturing, which was affected largely, and our GDP as far as manufacturing was quite low. We have seen the rise of Germany, Japan, China as far as manufacturing is concerned. So the government came up both with Make in India program as well as the production linked incentive program, which gives a robust clarity with regard to the direction in which the government wants manufacturing to go in a faster speed, because we want to be again self-reliant. A lot of products were being imported within India, which India was not manufacturing. But in a phased manner, government wants to promote manufacturing of these items, for which it has incentivized it. So areas like electronics, semiconductors, where we are dependent upon a lot of other Eastern countries, medical devices, bulk drugs, medicines, pharmaceuticals, drones, and EVs, and so many other things. There has been a focused approach by the government for development of these industries, and we have seen significant gains out of it. Financial inclusion is another area, and the digital platform the government has created has bring about a lot of good practices and ensured that every person within India has a bank account. When the Jan Dhan Yojana was promoted and the promotion was given to the bank account, almost like 40 crore new accounts were opened. some of them with zero balance. But today, everybody has a safety factor that they can deposit the money within the banking system and they feel secure. Likewise, when we went for the complete digitization and also with the digital stack, people wondered globally as to how India is able to create that stack, which is able to help the payments of UPI payments and the millions and billions of transactions that are happening month to month, which provides the security to the everybody. Likewise, the direct benefit transfer, wherein a lot of subsidies were being transferred to the people and there were a lot of leakages, as you know. But the system has become so inclusive and robust that it has helped to resilience and ensured that everybody gets what is desired to be given to them. So the middleman, as far as that is concerned, has been eradicated, which is channelizing a lot of resources for the economic growth. Likewise, there we have seen a lot of development taking place, both as far as physical infrastructure is concerned, whether it is roadways, airports, seaports, and other things. But the rural infrastructure which was missing, wherein the connectivity to the last mile was concerned, whether it is with regard to water, electricity, schools, and hospitals and basic amenities, was missing. The government in the last 2 years has ensured that we have to ensure that each and every child and each and every family gets access to basic necessities, and that has created a lot of comfort, and people are coming out and becoming a part of this initiative to give their pull to the development of the economy. Well, the government has also been very prudent in exercising fiscal consolidation and controls. I mean, I'll just touch upon these points because these are important as far as the resilience is concerned, so that we maintain a particular discipline as to how do we want to ensure that we are not dependent overtly with other agencies. So there's a lot of encouragement as far as FDI is concerned, and a lot of people are looking to India in terms of the leadership, in terms of resilience, as to how they've been able to overcome these challenges. And last and not the least, I'll just briefly touch upon sustainability. And in sustainability, I think there are 3 areas which the government has worked very actively. The first is with regard to climate change, wherein the dependence on fossil fuels is being reduced, and we are going for renewable sources of energy, whether it is wind or power or solar power and other things. The other is empowerment of women. This is a critical area because the women have to participate in the development, and more and more workforce coming from the women will help in building the economy in a much more resilient and robust manner. And the third is towards enhancing social justice, equity, and freedom of expression. So these 3 areas are something which will help in a sustainable development of our country. To conclude, I would like to once again say that we will be covering in depth a lot of the areas. Our chief guest and keynote speaker will be touching upon various areas, and all of you who are present here who have submitted a lot of papers. So a lot of good practices, and there has to be a collaboration between academia and the industry, and I hope that we are able to come out with a lot of suggestions and introspect and reflect on what are the best courses that we can do, not only as a country, but also for communities, for individuals. So because every person's contribution will ultimately help in building that resilience that we are looking at. So for that, it is very important that our human capital index should improve. And in this, the participation, whether it is the students, the working class, the farmers, the entrepreneurs, or the brains or the scientific minds and engineers, everybody has to play their role in building the superpower that we envision our India to be. I would like to quote Nobel laureate Amartya Sen once said, "Economic growth without investment in human development is unsustainable." So if you want a sustainable growth, then it is necessary that you have human development. And this is the key area where talent, and today talent is at a premium. The more talented and skilled we are, the faster we can grow. Just to end, I would like to touch upon, as our keynote speaker, Professor Ken Nishikawa is from Japan. I would like to conclude by giving you a small example of how nature brings resilience. I am taking example from the nature in Japan. In Hiroshima, within Myojin Temple, stands a remarkable Junko tree that has defined the odds of over 150 years. The venerable tree not only endured the radiation of the atomic bomb, but has preserved the subsequent challenges, including damage from typhoons and lightning strikes. It shows its enduring vitality. Let us all learn from nature what nature is able to contribute to us and work collectively for a common goal at a mission goal. With these words, I would like to welcome our chief guest and keynote speaker and wish the conference all success. Thank you.